Okay, here's a thought. What if I told you the secret to humanity's origins? Maybe its incredible resilience and our vast diversity. What if it might just lie in one remarkable place? Kenya.
Hmm.
And we're not talking about, just safaris and beautiful landscapes, which it absolutely has.
Right.
We're deep diving today into this idea of Kenya as something, well, kind of unique, a living genetic archive.
Mm-hmm.
And scientists are definitely not exaggerating here. They really do say Kenya holds one of the richest genetic tapestries on Earth.
Wow.
So this deep dive, it isn't just about culture or history, though obviously those are fascinating.
Sure.
Our mission today really is to pull out the most important bits of knowledge about the biology, the evolution, and yeah, even the controversies around this whole topic. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When we
Right.
talk about Kenya, we're sort of framing it as the genetic cradle of humanity.
Researchers are emphasizing that Kenya is one of the very few places globally where you see genetic markers showing this unbroken line going back an astonishing 200,000 years.
Yeah, 200,000. It's hard to wrap your head around.
It really is. That means Kenyan DNA literally carries traces of the earliest Homo sapiens, so it's like a living fossil record.
Right.
Not literal fossils, of course, but a genetic blueprint. It uniquely mirrors those earliest chapters of our species' story, preserved in living populations today.
And what's truly compelling here is the science backing it up. You've got studies from places like the Max Planck Institute, the Human Genome Diversity Project,
Okay.
and they consistently show that Kenyan populations carry some of the highest levels of genetic diversity found anywhere in the world.
But why there specifically?
While the why is crucial, it's because East Africa is widely believed to be where modern humans first evolved. And maybe even more importantly, it's where we stayed the longest before those big migrations started happening, spreading people across the globe. More time means more diversity accumulating.
Right, that makes sense. More time, more variation building up. And I read this incredible stat.
Yeah?
Geneticists have actually identified over 2,500 unique autosomal SNPs. That's single nucleotide polymorphisms.
Right, tiny variations in the DNA code.
Exactly. Found in certain Kenyan communities that just do not exist anywhere else in the world.
Nowhere else.
Over 2,500. That's not just a number. It's like proof of this incredible genetic richness, right? It gives us this almost pristine window into humanity's foundational blueprint.
It really does.
And this amazing continuity, this link to our species' origins, it doesn't just stop at the big picture. It also brings us to the incredible diversity within Kenya itself.
Yeah, that's another layer entirely.
I mean, Kenya has more than 40 distinct ethnic groups. You have the Kikuyu, Luo, Luhire, Kalenjin, Maasai, just to name a few.
Yeah.
And each group has its own unique genetic lineage.
And if we connect that back, researchers found a really striking example. Take the Maasai people. Their DNA profile. It's remarkably close to ancient Nilotic populations. We're talking almost 90% continuity with populations that were there before the Bantu expansions.
90%? Wow. It's like looking directly into an ancient mirror.
It really is. And that just highlights why Kenya is such a vital living genetic archive. It's preserving these incredibly deep evolutionary connections. Imagine what secrets those ancient genetic blueprints might still hold for us.
Absolutely. And then sticking with specific groups, there's that intriguing case of the Kalenjin runners.
Yes, the runners.
Yeah.
World famous.
Exactly. They dominate international marathons. And studies have shown they possess these unique genetic markers, things linked to VO2 max, lactate processing.
Which definitely sounds significant, but, and this is really important, this is where we immediately hit a crucial nuance and, potential controversy.
Okay.
While those genetic markers are present, scientists are very careful to emphasize that athletic success like this is multifactorial.
Oh.
It's really complex.
So not just the genes.
Absolutely not just the genes. It includes culture, high-altitude training, socioeconomic factors, sheer dedication, you name it. Genetics might play a part, but it's only one piece of a much bigger puzzle. And this leads us perfectly into some of the ongoing debates.
That distinction, between genetics and all the other factors, that seems absolutely critical. But does that mean the whole idea of a genetic predisposition for certain traits is just wrong? Or is it more about avoiding oversimplification?
That's the million-dollar question, really.
Because this is where it gets really interesting for you, the listener, to think about as we move into the controversies.
And one of the big ones is exactly that debate around the so-called athletic gene narrative.
Right.
Critics argue, quite strongly, that focusing too much on this viewpoint unfairly reduces Kenyan success in sports purely down to biology.
I see.
And in doing so, it overlooks all those vital socioeconomic factors, the cultural emphasis on running, the environmental advantages, everything we just touched on. It's really important to understand that critical viewpoint impartially. It's a very sensitive discussion.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, so that's one major area. Then there's something called the Y chromosome mystery. What's that about?
This is fascinating from a deep ancestry perspective.
Mm.
Studies have found that in certain Kenyan tribes, particularly in the north,
Uh-huh.
Y-DNA haplogroup A now, that's a genetic marker passed exclusively down the male line, father to son.
Tracing paternal lineage way back.
Exactly. And haplogroup A is considered the most ancient male lineage on Earth. It still exists in some of these Kenyan groups at frequencies over 15%.
15%. That sounds high for something so ancient.
It is. And here's a fun fact to put that in perspective. Haplogroup A is believed to be over 275,000 years old.
Wow. Older than Homo sapiens was previously thought to be, almost?
Well, it pushes right up against the earliest estimates, and its survival in Kenya at those kinds of frequencies is incredibly rare globally. It strongly suggests these populations descend directly from some of the oldest male ancestors on the entire planet.
That's mind-blowing, actually. Okay, so we've journeyed way back into Kenya's deep past, looked at the diversity inside its borders, touched on these complex controversies. But beyond the history, what does all this genetic wealth mean for us, like now? For the present and the future, how does this incredibly rich information impact the wider world?
Well, that's where it gets really practical. Medical researchers are paying significantly closer attention to Kenyan genetic data now,
In what ways?
particularly in fields like, say, HIV resistance, also malaria immunity, and even understanding rare blood disorders.
Okay, malaria immunity, can you give an example?
Sure. There's growing interest in Luo populations, for instance. It seems certain alleles, those are just variations of a gene.
Right.
They seem to offer some partial protection against malaria. Now, it's a bit similar in effect to sickle cell traits, which also offer malaria protection, but the underlying mechanism is completely different. Studying these variations could open new avenues for malaria prevention or treatment.
Interesting. Different paths to the same protective outcome.
Exactly. And if you look even broader, think about the big genome mapping projects like those supported by H3 Africa, the Human Heredity and Health in Africa Initiative.
Okay.
They are really helping scientists understand how African ancestry, in general, impacts things like drug metabolism, how our bodies process medications.
And why is that so important?
Because, historically, clinical trials for new drugs have overwhelmingly focused on populations of European descent.
Right, I've heard that.
So we have this huge gap in knowledge. Medications might not work as effectively, or could even have different side effects in people with different genetic backgrounds. Understanding the diversity in places like Kenya is absolutely revolutionary for making personalized medicine a reality for everyone, potentially leading to safer, more effective treatments globally.
That makes so much sense, filling in the missing pieces of the human genetic picture. Okay, so when we put all of this together, the deep roots, the diversity, the controversies, the medical potential, what does it all really mean? Why is Kenya's gene pool, so special?
Well, in essence, I think its significance is profound. It really forces us to rethink the whole story of human history. It pushes us to redefine what diversity truly means, biologically speaking, and it definitely challenges our assumptions about genetics, race, and yes, even performance.
So it's more than just history.
Oh, much more.
Yeah.
Kenya's DNA holds these incredible pieces of our collective past, for sure,
Yeah.
but it also holds potential clues, maybe even solutions for our future health and understanding.
It's like you said at the start, a living archive. So ultimately, Kenya isn't just a country on the map. Well, it sounds like it's a biological time machine, a genetic mosaic, and maybe a place where science meets something deeper. Soul, perhaps?
That's a beautiful way to put it, a biological time machine. I like that.
So a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. What do you think about this idea? A single country potentially holding the blueprint to humanity. Does this kind of genetic heritage influence national pride? Should it?
Or perhaps, should we be more cautious? How do we interpret these findings responsibly, avoiding those pitfalls of oversimplification or stereotyping we talked about?
Lots to consider there.
Definitely. We really encourage you to reflect on these questions, maybe consider them as you continue your own deep dive into the fascinating world of knowledge.